When there's a little bit of a chill in the air, that usually means college football season is heating up. Hey everybody, this is Sarah Spencer, and this is Know Your Yellow Jackets. I think a lot of us kind of expected Clemson to take week 1. And then I think a lot of us expected Georgia Tech to handle Western Carolina week 2. But up against number 20, Ole Miss, this might be the week when we really find out what the Yellow Jackets are made of. So we stopped by Georgia Tech practice to talk with Coach Jeff Collins about how this week is going. We'll hear from him and our Georgia Tech beat writer, Ken Segura, so stay tuned. If there's one thing that can really give the Jackets a boost, it's getting that run game going. Dante Smith rushed for 102 yards and 3 touchdowns in the win versus Western Carolina. Jeff Collins complimented him and also how quarterback Jeff Sims can open up things on the ground for the Jackets as well. But he did mention against a team like Ole Miss, you're going to have to throw it around to get the win.
I thought the first game, I thought Jeff played well. Just his poise, his command of the offense, progressions, going to taking the ball to the proper receivers. Saturday night, the big focus of the game was establishing the run game. I don't think we did that in our opener against Clemson. We wanted to establish the run game. Jeff did a nice job of getting us into the proper run plays, and we had some success running the ball. And then now it's going to be time that there's going to be times that he's going to have to throw for us to win. So just excited about his development, his attitude, his mindset, his selflessness as a teammate as we're running the ball really well, and taking the shots when we can get them.
No matter who's at quarterback, that Ole Miss offense led by Coach Lane Kiffin can be explosive. Here's what Collins said about how the Jackets can limit that, plus what they need from that defensive front.
They're an explosive offense. Both quarterbacks are very, very talented. The running backs are really, really good. They've got a host of receivers that can make explosive plays and stretch the field vertically. And then an offensive line that is big, that is physical, and the pace of their offense and the multiplicity of their offense is a big challenge. It's a big challenge to replicate out at practice. We're trying our best to simulate what it's going to be on Saturday, but once that it starts rolling, they know what they're doing. They're very fast in what they do, and they execute at a high level, and they've got really good players running it as well. So we've got a big challenge ahead of us, and we're going to need every day of prep and every minute to get ready to play at a high level.
All right, everybody, I'm joined by my coworker, Ken Segura, our Georgia Tech beat writer. Ken, you and I were talking earlier today watching practice that really this might be the first time we kind of see what the Yellow Jackets are made of.
I think that could be. I mean, the first game against Clemson,
everybody expected
right,
kind of
yeah,
a blowout.
Clemson looked like kind of what you thought, and the game ended at 41-10. You saw some things out of Tech that you thought, oh, maybe this is, hopeful for them. And then the game against Western Carolina, a really rough first quarter, but things got going, and they took control of the game and played well. But you're like, well, they played Western Carolina, so now, the number 20 team in the country, for whatever that's worth right now, I think it'll be a much better test of what this team can be.
Now, to be fair, on the Ole Miss side, they've only beaten Troy and Central Arkansas, so we don't know much about that Ole Miss team either. So how do you feel like these teams match up, or is it too soon to say? Because we're still kind of learning both of their identities.
Yeah. I mean, for one thing, Ole Miss, they had a really good season last year, but they lose their quarterback, and they're still trying to figure out who their guy's going to be. They brought in a ton of players from the portal, and so they're kind of having the same, challenge, as Georgia Tech does of mixing in and fitting in a lot of new players. So yeah, I mean, I think as we've seen the last couple weeks, a lot of ranked teams have lost, and I think it's kind of that resettling of who's really good and who isn't. So we'll find out, really for both teams, as you're saying, on Saturday.
Now let's flash back to that Western Carolina game real quick. As you said, a rough first quarter, but I mean, an okay win, and a win is a win at the end of the day. But what stood out to you about that game?
Well, certainly the thing that stands out defensively, they got 4 turnovers, 3 interceptions. All of last season, they only had three picks the whole year, so that's a step in the right direction. Dante Smith, I thought, played really, really well. Just kind of what we've seen from him last couple of years. To give him a chance to give him the ball, he's going to make plays for you, even if he doesn't have all the holes. And Charlie Thomas played really, really well for the second game in a row. He only played the second half because he was suspended with the targeting penalty from the Clemson game, but was all over the field. And he's someone that you think could be potentially a difference maker for you, certainly against Ole Miss, but also down the road.
You mentioned Dante Smith. Obviously, getting the run game going is such a big factor for Georgia Tech. Is that one of the biggest things the Jackets need to execute against Ole Miss to get this win, or what are kind of your biggest things that they need to do to come away victorious? This is a big season for Georgia Tech. You don't want to go down 1-2.
And you've got to, it's kind of cliche, but control the ball and don't give it away. And if you can, make Ole Miss defend you and set up your play action, that sort of thing, then that's obviously plays to Georgia Tech's favor. So whether it's Dante Smith or Son Hall or Dylan McDuffie, I think, or Jeff Sims for that matter, I think we could see more out of him in the run game. I think that'll be an important thing.
All right, Ken, thank you so much for joining me.
Yep.
Thank you all for watching. Make sure you go to ajc.com to check out more of our videos.